Welcome back. This is Elliot from the Early Stage Investor. We've been covering uranium from the deepest, darkest depths of the recent uranium winter. We launched this channel in like 2020 when the price of uranium was here, and now it's up here, right? It's been skyrocketing. So we're early stage investors. We're trying to find early stage undiscovered assets that can provide life-changing returns, not massive mega cap assets that are going to provide decent returns, but not necessarily life-changing returns quickly. Well, uranium has done extremely well, and we've been covering how it's been in a multi-decade supply crunch. So there's nowhere near enough above-ground supply to meet the massively ballooning demand. Eric Schmidt, the ex-CEO of Google, one of the deepest connected people in the technology world, said the only limitation to artificial intelligence is electricity. We're going to reach our limits of electricity soon. What is uranium? The densest form of electricity on the planet. So if you want to know why it's skyrocketing, let's hear what the President of the United States is saying. A lot of it is driven by what his administration has been doing. So here's Trump.
We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables. By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great. The wind doesn't blow. Those big windmills are so pathetic and so bad, so expensive to operate. And they have to be rebuilt all the time, and they start to rust and rot. Most expensive energy ever conceived, and it's actually energy. You're supposed to make money with energy, not lose money. You lose money, the governments have to subsidize. You can't put them out without massive subsidies. And most of them are built in China, and I give China a lot of credit. They build them, but they very few wind farms. So why is it that they build them and they send them all over the world, but they barely use them? They use almost anything, but they don't like wind. But they sure like selling the windmills. Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go, with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green, and they were going bankrupt. And the new leadership came in, and they went back to where they were, with fossil fuel and with nuclear, which is good. It's now safe, and you can do it properly. But they went back to where they were, and they opened up a lot of different plants, energy producing plants, and they're doing well. I give Germany a lot of credit for that. They've said this is a disaster, what's happening. They were going all green. All green is all bankrupt. That's what it represents. And it's not politically correct. I'll be very badly criticized for saying it, but I'm here to tell the truth. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
So the only green energy that's acceptable right now to the Trump administration is nuclear power. And so they've been rolling out these executive orders to unleash nuclear energy in the United States. So we're undergoing a nuclear renaissance. Microsoft has taken over 3 Mile Island. Big tech is adopting small modular reactors. So it's going to be a really important fuel in the future. And we've been covering, again, multi-decade supply crunch in the above-ground availability of uranium. So that's why this price is skyrocketing. People have been sleeping on this for years. Now, the world's starting to wake up to what's going on with these assets. And the domestic United States high-quality uranium miners are skyrocketing. They're doing really well. So let's dive into what's going on with some of these assets. Uranium Energy Corp, UEC, reports $66.8 million in revenue in 2025, expands U.S. nuclear supply chain and sustainability goals. So far in 2025, they've had $67 million of revenue driven by 810,000 pounds of uranium sold at an average price of $82 per pound, right? They're selling it high, or at least where we are now. They were smart to wait instead of selling it lower. Gross profit, $25 million from uranium sales. Inventory build, right? This is what we want to see. These companies stack reserves of this scarce fuel. As of July 31, 2025, the company held 1.36 million pounds of uranium valued at $100 million. Another 300,000 pounds will be added through contracts at $37 per pound by December 2025. That's why a lot of these assets are skyrocketing, because they stacked this resource when no one else wanted it. When the retail traders were panic selling all their positions, they were buying $37 a pound. I remember when we started this channel, that's what the price of uranium was. Balance sheet. UEC closed the year with $321 million in cash, inventory, and equities with no debt. So it's just a rock solid asset ready to take advantage of the future nuclear renaissance. Can it get overpriced? Absolutely. But that's for a separate video. What about energy fuels? Energy fuels stocks retail chatter heats up as congressional visit raises speculation of U.S. deal. And interest in the stock sparked as a U.S. congressional delegation visited the company's processing facility in White Mesa, Utah. Energy fuels, as we've covered, is one of the most strategic U.S. assets on the planet. They have rare earths, which is obviously a very political thing right now. They're trying to move away from our dependence on China's rare earth to domestic rare earth. Energy Fuels, UUUU, is massive in that space, really important, and they're huge in domestic uranium. This facility doesn't just produce uranium. It's the only producer of dysprosium oxide in the Western Hemisphere, a rare earth element for advanced military and energy technologies. It's also a model for what responsible critical mineral development can look like, Hurd said in a post on X. Hurd is a member of the Science Subcommittee on Energy as well as a Utah congressman. It can only mean one thing, a government contract coming our way. Look out, gang, here we go. So just massive hype around these valuable resources. What about Denison Mines? Denison Mines jumps on strong optimism for uranium and nuclear. Earlier this week, technology giants Nvidia, Alibaba, and OpenAI announced a wave of billion-dollar investments that bolstered rosy prospects for the nuclear industry. So the only limitation to artificial intelligence is electricity. A lot of them are turning heavily into nuclear. It's the only green fuel. We've done deep dives on all these assets. They're all pretty rock solid. And so they're going to benefit from hype, and they're going to get expensive and probably stay expensive. That's what happens to high-quality assets. There's a premium in the highest quality assets on the planet, always. So that's where we are with these assets playing out like clockwork. I appreciate everyone who had the discipline and pain tolerance and ability to buy these assets when they were selling off. There have been lots of opportunities, and there may be opportunities again. But for now, the thesis is playing out like clockwork, and early stage investors are getting paid.